See, once you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Somebody puts me here, and I have to pay the bills. How does that work? And the same thing with God. God puts me here, and now if I sin, it's my problem. I didn't ask for this. So even telling people you have to obey God, you have to behave yourself, you have to be good. No, I don't have to anything. I don't have to. And I can prove it. Here, watch me sin. See? Oh, but after you die, you're going to... Don't threaten me. It doesn't work anymore. So you can't threaten people with death. You certainly can't threaten them with hell. In fact, when you threaten people with any kind of punishment, they take it as a victory. See, you ran out of what to say. Now you're just threatening. If you had something to say, you wouldn't resort to threats. So I'm asking, why do I have to listen to God? Why do I have to keep commandments? Why do I have to do any of this? I said, because if not, you're threatening. So you have nothing to say. Bullying. Is God doing that? Is that what God does? You better listen to me. Why? Because I'll kill you. No, I won't do it. I got people in Chicago. I got Satan, I turn him loose on you. It's not working. It's not inspiring anybody. But my experience has been, I'm talking to a guy who insists that he doesn't believe in God. He doesn't think there is a God. And I say, yeah, but God needs you to do this. He said, really? Now he's interested. He says he doesn't believe in God. I said, yeah, but God is waiting for you. He said, oh, really? That talks to people. So when a person says, religion, I don't need it. Of course you don't need it. You don't need anything. But the creator of the world obviously needs something. But you create a world without needing anything? Particularly when you're already perfect anyway? So we have it so backwards. I mean, think about this. God, who creates the whole universe, needs nothing. I, who create nothing, need all sorts of things. It doesn't work. It changes our relationship with God. Suddenly, I am necessary to him. It's a different relationship. Now, Mark Twain, I think it's Mark Twain, said, the two most significant days in your life, the day you're born and the day you figure out why. That good? And the second day is much more significant than the first one. Why? Because God needs it. Now, all of a sudden, God is real. If he needs me, that's real. All of a sudden, God is lovable. A God who doesn't need you is very hard to love. What are you loving? An indifferent God? But if he needs me, hey, he's lovable all of a sudden. And if he does need me, he needs me infinitely, eternally, cosmically. This is not just a a petty need. This is God. So the word commandment doesn't fit anymore. You say there are 613 commandments in Judaism. You tell somebody, I have 613 commandments for you. You surprised they run away? I mean, 10 is quite a burden. 613, if you call it commandments. But if you say there are 613 things you can do for God that he really needs, wow, what a selection. It's almost anything I do, which is interesting. The guy who invented the electric toothbrush, he did it thinking, I need to make money, I need to be rich, I need to live. If you invented an electric toothbrush, you made life a little more comfortable, a little easier for people on earth. You are serving God. You produce food, you're a farmer, you're a food distributor, you're serving God. You're making his world better. So I recently came up with this analogy. You got this Japanese gardener. He loves gardening. He loves the beauty of flowers, and he sees this neglected piece of land. And he goes in there and he plants and he weeds it out and he designs it and he turns it into a beautiful garden. He loves it. All of a sudden, some guy comes over to him and hands him a check. He says, what is this? He says, that was my garden you just made beautiful. So I owe you. He had no idea. That's what we're doing on earth. Everything we do to make God's garden a little nicer, a little more comfortable, a little safer, a little more enjoyable. You think you're doing it because you need money? No. It's his garden, and you just made it better. So who is not serving God? But they don't know. They have no idea. They're actually serving God's purpose. We can do a little better than a toothbrush, but it counts. So some guy working on an assembly line, thinking this is boring, this is terrible, I'm not doing anything. Yes, you're doing something. Even if you work in the shipping department, when all you do is mail out the toothbrush, you're helping make the world better. You're serving God. Now, if you were aware of it, you would serve God with joy instead of being bored and suicidal because you can't stand your job anymore. It's not your job. You're doing God's job. It's inspiring, not in theory, in reality. People who never believed in God, when they find out that God needs them, they're in. Which tells us one final thing. Human beings, because we were created to serve him, need to feel necessary more than they need to be loved. So we've been selling the wrong product. We're selling love. God loves you, he loves you, he loves you. But if you don't behave, people don't need to be loved. as much as they need to know that they are necessary. And the same is true with children in a family. Parents say, I love you, I love you. If it doesn't feel like I need you, you're necessary, all the love in the world will not make up for it. Because bottom line, we are created purposeful, so we need to feel purposeful. And the only way to feel purposeful is if somebody needs me. If no one needs me, love will not help. It's like, what do you love that you don't need? Chocolate? A gerbil? A goldfish? If a parent were to say to a child, we don't need you, but we love you, you're so cute. So, oh, I'm a gerbil? Doesn't work for a human being. Certainly I will not enjoy my existence if all I'm living for is for you to love me. I'm your entertainment. Doesn't work. If God doesn't need me, his love means nothing. Make sense? Oh, God loves you. Like a pet? Human being can't tolerate that. And the truth is, there is no love without vulnerability. Certainly on the human level. If a man says to his wife, I love you very, very much, she says, yeah, but I want a divorce. He says, fine, your loss. He doesn't love her. If he's not vulnerable, if losing her doesn't hurt, he doesn't love her. True? If God doesn't hurt when we ignore him, then he doesn't love us. There is no love without vulnerability. So God is the most vulnerable, infinitely vulnerable. Now, obviously, hurt for God is not the same as hurt for a human being. He's not going to die. Children say, oh, God needs this? Well, what if I don't do it? Is he going to die? No, he's not going to die. Oh, so he doesn't need it. No, he really needs it, and he won't even die, which means it'll never end. Again, death is not a motivator. Death means you're not going to suffer that long. Soon you'll die, and it'll be over. Right? So will God die? No, he'll continue to hurt as long as you ignore him. Whole different Bible, whole different God, whole different world, whole different future. The future is we were created to serve him and partner with him. That's what we're going to end up doing because his plans don't fail. That's the Messiah. The plan will succeed. People will serve him. He will come down to earth and be the God of the world, King of the world. And then the world will be his, which is a perfect world. And we will have partnered in making that happen. Sometimes unconsciously.